Mix Master.
Recently, I had the absolute pleasure of interviewing David Witt, Alexis Davis, Chad Jackson, Jacob Crawford, and Kevin Moore, members of COPWATCH. Kevin Moore has become an instrumental piece of the puzzle when he captured Freddie Gray's incident with his camera phone. Yeah, this episode will move you because it moved me. We will learn how the organization was formed, what life was like in Ferguson when Mike Brown was murdered, and how they are able to console each other and the deceased's family. Keep the station locked here because you don't want to miss this one. Trust me.
And on that note, if you want to touch bases on what you should know, like when you go out, it's like never to leave out, without your camera, and if you're a cop watching,
Right.
and, to always cop watch with a partner, and to make sure that
Safety in numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you approach a scene, you want to approach it with caution, and you don't want to run up to a scene. You don't want to scare an officer, right?
Right.
And so
Because we don't know how that might end up.
absolutely, so you want to approach them with your cameras out already, so they'll know what you're doing,
Gotcha.
and they obviously see your shirt, and so they know, right? And so you still want to give them their space, you know
Gotcha.
what I mean? And you never want to follow an officer's direct line of where he's walking, because they could consider that as harassment, right?
So whether it's in front of them or behind them.
you never want to follow an officer directly.
You understand?
So then, like, after that, it's just like making sure that the person who's actually being apprehended by the police is okay, and if they even need us there, or if they want us
Right.
there, or because you never know how a person feels when they're getting locked up. It's a scary situation. It's a scary feeling when you're approached by an officer. So you just kind of want to be conscious of all the people involved. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? When you're cop watching, because you never know.
And for yourself,
Absolutely.
most
If
importantly.
I add though, I also think it's good to note that you don't always necessarily. It's great to have a partner, but you have to go out at some point and be proactive as an individual and
Okay.
take a stand. And for me, I took a stand by myself. But the community, I engaged in the community. People asked me what I was doing, and I told them, I explained myself, and people began to support me in Ferguson.
Got ya.
Because a lot of our people in our community they will watch your back. They don't want to be on the front line.
On the front line.
So you can't go out in your own community. That's why, like, Cop Watch, it has to be done by somebody that lives there. Then it'll be safe for you to be by yourself, because everybody, and your neighbors are going to look out for you. If people out there, people were pulling out their phones. Like when I used to go to a cop watch stop, and then people would pull their cameras out, because in Missouri, in the middle of America, this is unheard of. They were like, man, look at this guy, he's crazy. I'm finna film this, cop's finna mess this dude up.
That's what I had
And then
said.
it's empowering for
I said
them.
when I seen him,
Right.
I thought he was crazy.
And it's empowering for people to see that. They be like, what? They didn't mess with him? Man, I'm finna do that. Let me find out what he just did.
Right.
You see, and that right there is that empowering thing. Actually seeing somebody get beat, that's disencouraging to somebody.
Yes.
So, we gotta start showing more footage of people actually winning that fight against, you know what I'm saying, these tyrants, in this occupation.
Sworn to
Inspiration
protect
is the
and
key.
serve. Oh,
Inspiration is the
absolutely.
key, because a lot of people are afraid to pick up a camera.
Absolutely.
And fear is not necessarily a bad thing, right? It just
Right.
means that you know your limits,
That is
and
true.
so that's why you try to inspire a person to go out and watch the police, because I'm more afraid of what'll happen if I don't watch the police,
Right.
So
you
true.
know, and so because I know what they're capable of, you know what I mean, and I have children. I have 3 girls. Well, I have 3 children. I have 2 girls and a boy,
Right.
and so that could have been my son, Freddie Gray.
Mhm.
It could have been me, and so
Yeah.
it's almost never talked about when you see a person that's doing something good for the community, right? And it's positive, and it's inspirational, and you never hear about it, But let something bad happen in that same neighborhood, everybody and their grandma gonna know what's going on.
That is so true.
You know?
And speaking of Freddie Gray, again, you two were friends, and
Yeah.
you guys travel to many cities. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
It's my
R.I.P.
boy.
You guys traveled to many cities. You've seen many crying mothers,
Yeah.
many crying family members. Like, how do you guys keep it together? How do you keep it together, Jacob? Do you keep it together?
We have meltdowns.
We
Trust
know.
me.
You have meltdowns, Jacob? We're
Well,
all
right,
human,
hey.
so.
I don't know why we're saying me having meltdowns, but we can talk about me.
Seriously.
We have all the
Did
problems.
I tap the right person or
We all
something?
have meltdowns.
No,
for
it's
certain.
not about the
Maybe
person.
except
It's
for
everybody.
Alexis.
I'm
She's-
always
Alexis,
trying
you're
to
tough.
She's the one who holds us all.
She holds us together. That's why
Really?
we
See?
Hey, can I say
Listen,
something?
high
Yeah.
Can I
five to
say
that.
something? That's me.
High five to that. Go
Can I
ahead.
say something? No, I mean that's me.
Oh,
when the in the
I
middle.
tried to-
That's the glue, though. She holds everything together.
Oh, that is.
I mean, we human, just like you said, right?
Yes.
And we melt down because we can't take it, you know? And sometimes it just gets to you.
Jeez.
The brain is not supposed to see that much terrible,
Just need doses,
inhumane,
not.
You know what I'm saying? So, like Jacob, he can't even watch a video without going to get a coffee sometimes. You know what I mean? Just
That's
to
me.
wake up.
That's me.
Yeah,
I never.
I just can't do it.
I've never watched the video of the Freddie Gray incident. I've never watched.
I probably wouldn't watch it
like
either.
I
know
can't
me.
do the video.
Yeah.
Like they
You
played
know
it
what I
yesterday,
mean?
and I had to walk
can't
out.
do
I
it.
couldn't. I mean, because it touched a spot that was. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, and so I never really talk about it. I never really have
That was
like
the
people
first
I can
time I seen
express
it.
how I feel
Mhm.
about the whole situation. And
You're
so,
showing them better than you can tell them, though.
Yeah.
And
which is
I
harder
mean,
to do.
Which no, I mean you're showing them better than you can tell them. I think usually talking sometimes
Right.
can be a little bit harder because it's like, you know, especially if you can't find the words to
Yeah.
actually. But what you're doing. You've joined COPWATCH.
Mhm.
You know, if it wasn't, I mean, unfortunately for what they did to your friend,
Yeah.
you would
Yeah,
not
yeah,
have been
he was
involved,
the
and you're
catalyst,
making certainly
you
the
know?
catalyst.
And
So I know it's not an easy.
it was because of Freddie that I started COPWATCH.
Yes.
You know, straight up. And so I was looking at my boy right there on the ground, and I'm like, man, he's looking at me, and I'm like, don't worry, dog, I got you. You good, you know. And so, and when he died, that's what kind of like blew me, you know, because I was
The
I was-
last probably friendly face he's laid.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like feeling like I filmed the last few minutes of his life, you know, and so I just
Yeah.
wish I could have done more, you know, sometimes, and I feel like I didn't do more, and maybe I should have died with him, and so I just think about all of that stuff. What could I have done?
Well, I
to
don't know if
change
I'm
it,
older
you
than
know?
you, but we're certainly peers. And like
Yeah.
you said, that Freddie Gray, that what occurred was
Mhm.
a catalyst. And if I mean, I certainly have 3 children, and I would love them to see me. I would love to see them. My grandchildren, great grandchildren, whatever.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure they'd like to see me as well.
Absolutely.
Anybody can be taken out,
Just
blink
like
of an
that.
eye.
Mhm.
But in the same regard, if I could be that sacrificial lamb, me personally,
Mhm.
where I know I can cover or protect even 30, 40 people,
Yeah.
and you guys are,
It's worth it,
then it's worth it.
you know. And so
You know what I
it's
mean?
like,
And in a
that
sense, it was
it's-
like he was
yeah.
the sacrificial lamb.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Did he
Yeah.
have any children? Did Freddie Gray have any
he didn't
children?
have any children. But in that sense, though, he had 5 sisters.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just
That's
like
awesome.
having children.
Yeah.
You know, kind of, because you got to be that role model. You got to be
Yes.
that. Because he's the not the oldest, but he's right there. You know, and so you got to try to play that role as a growing man.
Jeez.
You know, and I feel like, hey, if I gotta die for my children to live free, I'm a dead man.
And that's how I feel.
You know?
Just to make
think
sure, like,
everybody
anyway, I
feels
always
like
say
that.
I'm worth more dead than alive because I ain't got no money now, but I got a life insurance policy,
You know what I
so
mean?
they'll
they
be
straight.
good.
They good.
They'll be good by God's grace. First and foremost, well, you guys are here in Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn,
yeah.
New
Shout
York.
out
They've
New York,
been
man.
in
Shout out
Brooklyn.
New York.
Shout out New York.
Like
Shout
what?
out
Shout out to Brownsville.
Brownsville.
Everybody
We
been
gotta
giving
talk
us
about
all
this.
love,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
We've
It's
gotta
been
talk
This is
really
my
about
cool.
first time here in New York.
Oh, wow. Well, what made you guys come to New York? What brought you here? Well, you need to visit every city, that's for
Other
sure.
COPWATCHers,
But,
you know, and
gotcha.
then I had to meet Ramsey, you know, because he's like in my situation,
Yeah.
like really in my situation. You know,
yeah.
we relate on so many levels.
He's
You
a
know,
hero.
and so
Right.
we came out here
Gotta
for
protect
that
our
and
heroes.
to just
Absolutely.
basically link up with other COPWATCHers that we know and to basically try to get funded, man, because it's really hard to
Speak on it.
to go across and do what we do
Right.
without any funds, you know, and
Right.
so everything that we do is very limited, you know, and because we have to take into account of fuel and food and
Right.
you know just basic
And
cost
stay,
of living,
right, right.
you know,
And
so
right.
that limits our travels.
So how can we provide? How, as a media outlet, how
Jacob?
can we?
There's a donation button on WeCopWatch.org.
Can you repeat that, please?
Well, yeah, WeCopWatch.org is the main site. I mean, you can see stuff that Kevin's doing in the Baltimore pages, like Facebook pages and everything. But
Right.
WeCopWatch.org is the main site, and it's got a donation thing. You just put in there what you want the money to go to, because we spend most of our time fundraising for cameras. Once in a while, we'll throw one up if we're about to do a trip, like, you know, Chad and Dave went to North Charleston to help foster up a group out there. And so, you know, we'll throw one up, and we rely on public donations and
Absolutely.
contributions, because it's the public that supports us. Like, the work that COPWATCHers do in their own communities, like, if the community didn't support them, they wouldn't be there. If there was no need for the police to be watched, they wouldn't be there. So,
Right.
you know, it's this kind of fundamental, important thing that relies on community support. But yeah, so we're in New York because there are a lot of COPWATCHers in New York, and most of the time that we're visiting each other, there's something popping off in our city, and you know, and it's just kind of crazy. And we figured this would be a good time to reach out and learn from what folks are doing on the ground out here, and yeah, and just look for better means to subsidize a lot of the travel stuff, because as far as day-to-day stuff,
Specifically.
we'll be able to make do with what we do in our own cities, but there is something really magical about being able to continue the process of supporting COPWATCH groups and growth. Like, we've met a young man in Brownsville that he's so on point, and you know, we want to get a camera to Ramsey, and we want to get we generally see a lot of people that if we could get cameras to, we know would help change the world. So
Yes.
yeah, and so this time around it's been great, because we just keep meeting wonderful people and going on shifts in their neighborhoods and their communities and kind of under their direction, and it's just really interesting to see how the police are very similar, you know. And I'm you know, from the East Coast, so I know about NYPD, but you know, just being able to see how they operate in a big city with thousands of them at their disposal at any time, and how they use them against, you know, the good people out here. And
What was your experience like in Brownsville?
Oh my goodness.
Oh man,
It was like being in a
crazy.
movie, man.
It
It
was
was
crazy, man.
crazy.
Crazy.
It
Concrete
looks like
jungle.
Yeah,
it
it
looks
is.
like a prison yard. Like,
You see a
you know what I'm
police.
saying? I've been to a prison, and I know how COs, you know what I'm saying, move around. And
Right.
I've seen, you know what I'm saying, I've seen towers, and I know what the,
Oh, so familiar
the
with those
gun
towers.
line is.
Mhm.
You know what the
The
gun line is. They got the gun
boss.
line out there.
Did you guys see that mechanical, like, call it the transformer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
can
that
elevate
thing,
it,
that's
can
what
go
I'm
high
talking
and
about,
low.
that
Down
thing.
and the
What is
flashing
that's
lights on
the
every
tower.
corner.
Yeah. They've even got with like the big old strobe lights, so it's like in the middle of the night, it still seems like
Still beaming.
daytime.
Yeah.
It still
Yeah.
seems like
Exactly.
daytime. Were the people receptive out in Brownsville
Yeah,
when
Oh,
they
they
saw
was
you?
very
nice.
nice.
Oh,
They were the
they
nicest
met
people
yet.
we met.
Nice.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brownsville.
Brownsville.
Very
Yeah.
Brownsville,
Bam.
Yeah. They show big love. They see us filming the cops, and they like, man, where
Yeah.
y'all been at? Y'all
Yeah.
should have been out here. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, we need y'all out
We're
here.
like,
More
well,
people like y'all. You know, and so we try to go out there and incorporate that into the neighborhood,
Wow.
and just to let them know, hey, our presence is felt out here. And
Yeah,
so
we need
they
COPWATCH
know,
support out
because
there
they
too.
get, man, listen, we heard across the police radio when we were standing there, like the police was right next to us. Oh, COPWATCHers are here, so be careful.
Mhm.
Ah.
So, you know, so they're on point when we come through. You know what
I
I mean?
need
know.
to get one of those T-shirts
Yeah.
first and foremost, COPWATCH, and I'm gonna certainly,
definitely.
I'm gonna upgrade my phone so I can get a better camera and phones. I mean,
Yeah, that's the best
definitely
way.
everybody can use a camera, but the cell phone has changed.
I mean,
Look, you see my COPWATCH?
Yeah.
Meow.
Okay,
See
okay,
that?
okay.
Yeah. You dig? Phones are so important.
Mhm. That's what I film my
You
video
catch
with.
every
You know?
exactly.
And so,
You can save somebody.
I mean, what more
Yes.
does need to be said? Like, you can film something that can save somebody's life with a cell phone.
With
And
a
the,
cell
and the
phone.
quality of the cameras are so good nowadays.
They
because
are.
The technology is upgrading every month.
Every few minutes, it
You
seems
know?
like they're working on the very next
Yeah, so
big
you can buy a
project.
cheap camera. I mean, a cheap phone and get a nice camera.
Gotcha. People, I would like, can you please repeat the website? How can everybody, your social media information, how can our audience get in contact with you? And I'm highly suggesting everyone that can hear my voice or see my face to please contribute to the cause. I mean, you never know. It might be you. It might be your son. It might be your daughter. It might be your husband. You know, in the blink of an eye, your life can change significantly, and you'd want someone to be out there recording. You know, one thing I must say, in the hood, a lot of people like to mind their business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They feel, especially when it comes on person crime,
Very proud.
you know what I mean? They're quiet. They don't want to say much. I think that, and I do have friends that are police officers. All aren't bad. I'll say that. I've got to say my spiel. However, there are times when some of these police officers can be straight up vigilantes.
But you know what? I want to say one thing. They classify us and they put us in a category and they say one bad apple spoils the bunch. That's a two-way street.
Point blank,
You
period.
know what
That's
I'm
across
saying?
the board.
So one
Yeah.
bad cop spoils it for that good cop.
Unfortunately.
Because,
Yeah.
listen, if I'm a cop and he's a cop and he's my partner, he's doing dirt, but I'm clean and I witnessed that,
Birds of a
and
feather.
I don't say
in a
nothing,
sense.
you feel me? I'm just as filthy as he is.
Yes, you are. Yeah.
You
You
didn't
know?
actually have the
Yeah.
gun in hand, but hey, man.
That's
And
how
so-
You tried to cover it up because that's what happens. That's what colleagues do. They and friends, they have each other's back.
Yep.
And we've seen many instances, such as the man that was pulled over. What state was that in? The one that was pulled over.
What was that, Sam Dubose, I think?
Was that him? My God, I
Was that-
report him.
What was that? I
The
don't
one
know.
with the child support order.
South Carolina.
That's South Carolina.
Okay, yeah.
Walter Scott.
Walter Scott.
Walter
Yep.
Scott. And the guy, the police officer, he shot that man up in the back, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And his officer, his comrade, was helping covering up. And I'm
He's
like,
still
they
right
both should be
They're
in
filthy.
jail.
Both of
He's
them.
still
You're an
free.
accomplice to murder.
He's
Pretty
still
much. That's your co-defendant, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
your buddy.
That's
Exactly.
How, that's how they do us.
That's how they do us.
That's
Yeah,
how they do
they
us.
do us.
And
You
you could
ride
just
in the
be-
car.
Listen,
That's how they did
And we
you.
don't get bails
That's
for
how they
murder.
did me.
You
No,
know,
we
don't
don't.
get bails for
17.
murder.
no, we don't.
I hold
know?
our and I hold
Yeah.
our color, our black men and women of law enforcement. I hold them to a high standard because they're aiding and abetting this madness. You know, that black officer, he's still right there when that officer went, grabbed that taser gun, dropped it right there.
To
You
your
know,
own-
I mean,
And it
but
was
they
on
done it.
tape. Did
Yeah,
you
come
see?
on now.
In fact, I followed that case a bit, and Europe wanted to play that video, and the guy that actually took the footage, he's like, "Listen, y'all gonna have to start paying me.
Yeah. But see,
Y'all
it's-
gonna
it's-
have to start paying me."
That's what it's
And
all about,
he
man.
obtained copyright, information. He got his
Feeding
video.
Santana.
Hmm?
Feeding Santana.
The
Walter Scott?
that was his name. Yes.
Mhm.
So that's something. Not saying that you're trying to record things
No,
for the
you
sake
just
of
gotta know how
making
to-
a movie or making funds. I mean, you want to save a life. You want to be there for people.
Yep.
But you never know. It could be somebody's come up as well. But he was definitely fearless,
And-
just
but
as
you know
fearless
what,
as
though?
you
People-
guys.
People need, you know, and so when in the middle of the riots and I'm seeing people so-called looting,
Right.
I'm seeing that they're looting for Pampers and wipes and
Things that they need.
Things that they need. So is this really considered looting or is this desperation?
I had a conversation with someone not too long ago. In fact, it was Six Starborn,
Mhm.
and I guess it happened here in New York at one point where it was like a blackout and people were taking things that they needed,
Right.
like you said,
Yeah.
things that they couldn't necessarily or ordinarily
I mean, you
afford.
see soap powder and bleach and dish detergent and washcloths.
And that's a necessity in my house, so I'm not
These are
saying
things that people need.
I'd be looting,
know
but
what I'm
if it
saying?
shows up on my doorstep, I'll put it in the cupboard.
I tell you what, and that was the thing, man. People was like
Taking it
they
and
wasn't,
giving it
they
out.
was giving it away.
Oh,
I went
giving it
literally
to
like
their
people
friends and family and people
pulling
that
up
need
in
it.
cars and just thumping stuff out of cars
Dispersing.
like
Just take
everybody
it.
just because everybody's outside.
Everybody need it.
Everybody
need
need though, you know what I'm saying? And they was giving
Yeah.
stuff away. So I like, you know, a part of me, you know what I'm saying? I don't condone
But I do
with this,
understand.
but I do
Right.
understand.
Likewise.
You know what I'm saying? Like
But I
people,
did like
people, if
a
people
Robin
had
Hood.
money, they wouldn't go in the store. And
Yeah, the
steal
idea of
some-
Robin Hood.
Yeah, I did like Robin Hood as
Yeah, I
a kid,
did.
so I just, I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's all
As
I'm
did
gonna
I.
say, man.
So it is what it
king
is.
was a tyrant.
Yeah.
He was robbing the people.
Exactly.
So he was
Yes,
just
he
giving
was.
back. You know what I'm saying?
So we
kudos.
gotta wrap it up. How can we join COPWATCH?
I would say that if you want to join COPWATCH, you just really need to do it. But please get at us. WeCopWatch at Gmail. We'll, send you some links. You can go to the WeCopWatch site. There's how to start a COPWatch. You can watch These Streets Are Watching on YouTube. It's a 50-minute Know Your Rights video about what to do when you're stopped by the police or when you see the police doing something in your neighborhood. There's local COPWatches out here, and you don't have to look too hard to find them. So there's like a lot of COPWatches.
And do you have that information up? Do you know where all the COPWatchers are?
I would go
Yeah.
at the conclusion of this. You would be able to go to wecopwatch.org/NYC.
Gotcha. Okay, so that'll narrow it down.
Yeah.
I want to thank our good. Look, these are our Robin Hoods in a sense. Well, I mean, no, these are in our sense. I would like to refer to them as our heroes. Seriously, they're doing a lot of work, putting in a lot of work, traveling, driving. Being on some grassroots ish, if you know what I mean. Roughing
on the
it.
roof, but we
You
loved
hear that?
But we loved the
We
view.
slept in a
though.
car before.
But
know what
you
I'm
hear
saying?
that?
Yeah, we don't have no
Yeah.
hotels. No
We
fancy
slept right on the
suites,
block
none of that.
before too. Jacob
Yeah.
tell you we up
But
in
it's not-
Ferguson,
it's not
laying right
necessary.
outside. It's
Yeah.
good,
On the grass.
and it's
On the
safe.
ground.
It's safe.
Oh my gosh. And I want to thank you. Can you please leave your media information one more time? Everything will be up on Roxanne Roxanne's fan page on Facebook. I will also. We're gonna air this video. We're gonna pretty much just post everything, all the conversation, all the links. So look out for that soon. Don't forget to catch Roxanne every 5 to 6 here on Bbox. Don't forget that you can catch my Instagram, of course, Roxanne Roxanne NYC. Follow me on Twitter, Roxanne ROX the number 1. Of course, Facebook, Roxanne Roxanne. To be honest with you, I'm like still in awe. I'm overwhelmed. I'm so glad that we just bumped into each other.
Yeah.
Wasn't that on the
It was
humble,
on the
y'all?
humble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was
was.
on the
Yeah.
humble. We was walking up the
block.
green going to the house.
And we do what
That
we
was
normally
bananas.
do. We just talk to
That was
folks.
bananas.
And
That's
how
what we
work,
always
though.
do.
That's
And
how
y'all
we
made
normally recruit,
history
you
with
know?
me, and I'm making history, and I'm certainly, I'm honored to have you guys.
Thank
I'm
you for
The
that.
honor's all
absolutely
ours.
Thank you.
honored to have you
We
guys.
glad you guys cause the brother
getting
acknowledged. He
flustered.
said, "What do you guys?" He said, "You a COPWatch?" We was like, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, we was trying to catch up with you
Yeah,
guys."
brother Six,
I've
man.
been
That was
Facebooking
dope.
them. I have the proof to show. Hitting them up, hit them up on Facebook, and someone responded, but because of my schedule, I kind of dragged my feet. So then when I went back and responded, they
It was
probably
too
was
late.
like, "You snooze, you lose." Nobody ever responded, so to just
See how it
bump
happens.
into you and look. A
Yeah.
few days later, this was this past week, and a few days later,
There
you
we go.
guys are here with me, and we're talking and sharing energy, and I'm certainly about that cause. I need one of them T-shirts. Can I get one of them T-shirts?
Yeah,
No?
you're in the car.
We got to drive the car.
Heard that. Thank you so much. I want to again thank David Witt, Alexis Davis, Chad Jackson, Jacob Crawford, and Kevin Moore of COPWatch for joining us. I also want to thank you for watching. For more information regarding COPWatch and how to be a part of the movement, I'll be posting that information on my fan page, Roxanne Roxanne. Please follow me on IG, Roxanne Roxanne NYC, and on Twitter, Roxanne ROX1. Don't forget, you can catch me here every Fridays from 10:30 p.m. to 11 on Brick. Thank you for watching, and see you again next week.